What is up YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we're here to take a look at an oldie but goldie deck. We are of course talking about Phantom Blaster Overlord. Before I begin, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you are interested in purchasing any of the cards that you see here today, we do have a TCG player affiliate link down in the description below. Make sure to check that out. Absolutely no cost to you, help support the channel. And if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit that like button, possibly subscribe to the channel. I love bringing back some of these older decks and kind of retooling them for a current meta. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Of course, we are talking about 4 of Phantom Blaster Overlord. Now, this deck doesn't seem like a huge amount of changes within it, and especially not in the boss unit. We're still basically funneling our main strategy through Phantom Blaster Overlord, but we do have a support unit now that actually does make a difference. Previously, this was pretty much PG fodder. If you block this, you can definitely take or block some of the other attacks that you put on board. Overall, I think that now with the support card just adds a different layer of pressure and kind of makes some of your rearguard swings, makes your opponent kind of question, can I take this, should I take this, things of that nature. So I really do like that card. I think it kind of has brought this deck back, maybe not into relevancy or anything like that, but just kind of shows that they're willing to kind of keep some of these decks alive, and I think that card has some premium implications too. We'll definitely go over that in just a little bit, but overall, we know what Phantom Blaster Overlord does at this point. This is one of my first deck profiles I did, I think, on the channel. Gets that 2 crit, gets that extra 10k when the Phantom Blaster Dragon is in the soul, and of course we're going to be using the main package to kind of get it in there a little bit early. So overall, we're going to have that accelerated, and then its second skill, when it attacks a Vanguard, retire your rear guards, which now has another added bonus, which again we'll go over a bit later, and then basically pop the same amount of rear guards on your opponent's side that you popped on yours, then call a unit with Blaster and its name to rear guard circle. So you kind of want to stack one of your circles with some not over triggers, oh my god, with force markers, and kind of make that swing a little bit bigger. Make sure your Vanguard is exuding pressure, possibly with the force marker on it too, just to get some really sweet numbers overall. But yeah, like I said, main unit of the deck, we still are going to be playing through that. We still want to ride that every single turn. And then previously in my deck, I did run, I think, only 2 of these, but I've kind of changed that outlook here. I am now running 4 of Phantom Blaster Dragon. So of course, we're going to be using the main package to kind of ride into this, but beyond that, it does have the Blaster name in it, so you can call it down. And this is our premier call target, really. Blaster Dark is in here too, but I really do like this guy. Its skills kind of get shut off. We don't really want to ride this. We want to stay on Phantom Blaster Overlord as much as we can, but if you do want to ride it, you can use this. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world. There are definitely worse backup units to use, but everybody kind of knows the skill, so I'll kind of skip over that. But we are next up going to be looking at 1 Danger Lunge Dragon. So I still like the pressure that Danger Lunge kind of brings out. Sometimes you run out of blaster targets, you know, you've drawn into a bunch of them, can't call them from deck. It's like later into the game, you have a stacked rearguard column with your force markers, and boom, pop this guy down. Basically Soul Blast, Soul Blast 1 grade 3. Then until the end of the battle, this guy gets an additional 10k plus an extra crit, and your opponent cannot call Sentinels to the rearguard for that battle. So again, just exuding more pressure. This, along with the other card that we're going to be talking about, basically makes Sentinels just really bad for your opponent overall. So I like this card. I think that teching in at 1, maybe 2, maybe bumping down to Phantom Blaster Dragon is correct, but as of right now, I'm just kind of teching in at that 1 of. And like I mentioned too previously, going into the grade 2s now, we are looking at still 2 of Dump Hood Dragon. So Dump Hood pretty much is part of our combo that allows us to go and get Blaster Dark and ride that for grade 2. So we get into the Phantom Blaster Dragon. I'll show the combo, the full thing later if you're new to the game, you don't know it. But essentially, this is Dump Hood Dragon and continues on Rearguard Circle. If you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, it gets an additional 5k. And its second skill, act on Rearguard Circle, Soul Blast 1, retire this unit, search your deck for up to 1 Blaster Dark, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So essentially what this does, you call this out with Nemain on your very first turn, your superior call it, it's fine, even though it's a grade 2. You can then go and grab a Blaster Dark to make sure that you can ride into it next turn. And then next turn, you go in with the same Nemain, or, you know, just another copy of Nemain, go and call a Bendy out. The Bendy will go and get the, the Phantom Blaster Dragon, and just kind of accelerate your line there. Again, I'll go over that in just a little bit right after the main deck profile here. Next up, we are going to be going into 4 of Drag Wizard Leofall. So still using this. I'm glad this got reprinted. I kind of had a lot of the core laying around, but I didn't want to put it into some, put it into this deck when I could have been using it elsewhere. So it's good to have these cards reprinted to put in here. But this is very, very simple. When this placed on Van or Rearguard Circle, so Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 card, call it to open Rearguard Circle, and shuffle your deck. So really good for the Sharon play, just to get a column, call this down, Counterblast, call it down, get Sharon to back this guy up. Becomes a 21k column, get that Counterblast kind of refunded, which is really nice overall. Just more bodies on board that are good for retire targets, because we are looking to retire a little bit more than we were previously in this build, and you'll see why in just a little bit. And then lastly, of course, we do need to be running Blaster Dark. And again, this is a Blaster target that we can call off of Phantom Blaster Overlord, so I like to run 4 of it. It's a decent card. It's a cool little printing we finally got, like the XVR kind of artwork onto like a normal triple rare card, and whatever foiling you want to call this, really. Not the standard triple rare, but yeah, I'm not going to go over its skills. You don't really use it for the skills. You're not going to do that double swing on Vanguard Circle or anything like that. Again, just a Blaster target. It's that ride target that we need to be part of the Phantom Blaster combo. And then I've been talking about it the whole time, so obviously we are running 4 Nemains. You absolutely need to mulligan aggressively for Nemain. At this point, you know, I know this video is being a little bit quicker than some of my other ones, obviously just a little pressed for time as of late, haven't uploaded as many videos, but act on Rearguard Circle. We're going to rest this unit, search our deck for up to 1 card with 5,000 power, call to an open Rearguard Circle, and shuffle our deck. This ability may only be used with the same card of the same name once per turn, so hard once per turn on Nemain, but you're basically going to do this. Let me demonstrate the combo really quickly. We are going to then rest this, so let's get this out of the way. We're going to call down Nemain. You want to see Nemain and 1 other grade 1 on your in your opening hand. If you have that, you're pretty much golden. If not, if you draw into a Blaster Dark, you can hope to draw into a Nemain a little bit later and still pull this off, but let's assume we have another grade 1 and Nemain. Ride the other card, call Nemain, rest Nemain. We're going to go and get Dumphood Dragon. We're going to use Dumphood Dragon skill. We're going to Soul Blast 1, retire this unit, and then boom, we're going to go get out the Blaster Dark, get the Blaster Dark, add it to our hand. Next turn comes around, we ride down on the Blaster Dark. Here with Nemain, search out this next card that I'm going to go over. We're going to be searching out Bendy. Bendy's the target that we are looking for then. Activate Bendy skill, again, Soul Blast and retire this unit. And then you go get a Phantom Blaster Dragon from your deck and actually ride it on Vanguard Circle. Now with that, it loses all of its abilities, but even still, you have a -1 drive too, but even still, you just gained a Force Marker, and that's really good. That really puts us ahead. If you don't do this combo, I feel like the deck just kind of is like a lame duck. It's really tough to actually come back from it, so that's like the main downfall still of this deck. But overall, if you pull this off, not a hard combo. It's been around for quite a long time. Very powerful, pretty consistent, and very strong. You get that extra Force Marker. You have that 13k body, so it's a little bit easier to defend as well. So I really like that combo. It's definitely one of the more intricate things in Vanguard. Pretty simple game overall, but definitely a little bit more intricate. So just one bendy by the way, just running just that one because you have a less likely chance to damage that out and whatnot. All right, moving right along then into our next card, we are actually going to be going over one of the new cards. So again, if you play at a local game store that supports Vanguard, you might be able to get this for free. Otherwise, I don't know how much people are charging for this online. It's kind of ridiculous. I think I've seen some of the prices, but this is Knight of Instant Slash, right? Yeah, greet. So this card skill, basically when your rearguard is retired during your turn on your battle phase, this guy gets 5k per turn, 5k per unit retired, and that's an auto skill too, so that will trigger every single time. So if you retire 3 units off of Phantom Blaster Overlord, this guy gets an extra 15k. That becomes a 20k booster. 20k booster on a Vanguard that's already jacked up with an extra 10k and an extra crit, plus and maybe, you know, you have another Force Marker underneath it if you're going Force 1 or whatever. That is, you know, going to be a 53k column, so that's really tough to actually guard. And you know, you are having a double twin drive still, but it's a twin, it's a inherently 2 crit attack. So, you know, chances are you're going to be dumping a lot of stuff. They're going to be dumping a lot of stuff from their hand to guard this skill. And this is actually what really pushes us now, this second part. This is going to be auto on Rearguard Circle. At the end of battle, this unit boosted a Vanguard with Blaster in its name. If your opponent called a Sentinel 2 Guardian Circle during that battle, counterblast 1 and deal 1 damage to your opponent's Vanguard. So that is huge. There's no 5 damage restrict like the previous Phantom Blaster Dragon. There's no, you know, crazy kind of restrict in general. There's just, if they guard with a Sentinel, boom, you can then counterblast 1 and they take 1 damage. This can be really big towards the late game. This essentially guarantees almost that you are getting 1 damage off, because like I said, if you retire 3 rear guards, you're then going and giving, you know, this is a 53k column. If you hit 1 trigger, it's not easy to guard, you know, what is it, 15k, 20k, you know, all these cards from your hand you have to drop to guard that 53k attack. That's pretty big, pretty threatening, and this just puts a consistent pressure. And with the way the game is now, the way with the heal guardians and whatnot, they can pop that down. Sure, it's not going to damage or anything like that, but even still, Like, you just got that out of their hand. They can only do that once per game, and this is a deck that wants to have turns over and over. And if you do that, if you're putting this behind the Vanguard, if you're swinging, I think that, you know, you'll just have a pretty low and slow kind of gameplay that will eventually put the pressure on. So is this the most explosive deck? Absolutely not, but this really does help us. I think this advances the strategy forward enough to make it fun, like, you know, play at locals. Like I said, if you have a shop challenge, something like that, if you are the Shadow Paladin guy, I feel like you have to pick this card up. It's so much fun. I personally really love Phantom Blaster Overlord. It's a shame it's not better than it really is, but this card definitely helps us get us there. All right, and then next up for our next grade 1, this is going to be Black Sage Sharon. So this has been around forever. Again, this is the main call target for Leofall. If we call it off that, just Soul Blast 1, counter charge 1, and then boom, it gets an extra 3k. Just again, nice to have that. And we do want to flood the board with more bodies, because the more we retire, the more jacked up she gets, which is really, really impactful. And again, you know, you're swinging with the 2 crit Vanguard, so we want that. All right, and then next up, you could potentially put a little bit more in here, but I like to just run one of these guys right now. Abyssal Owl. This deck is more about, just like I said, low and slow. This helps us gain that like resource that we need if we want to Counter Blast or Soul Blast to get that extra card in hand. I feel like you can make room. You can probably cut this down one more just because it is searchable by domain, but there's so many decks that retire, get rid of your entire field, bind, whatever the case is. So I just want to make sure we need that card at all times to be exuding the pressure in today's format. So as such, I kind of upped that one and kind of brought Abyssal Owl down a little bit. So Abyssal Owl still a good card. And then lastly, again, we are looking for ride consistency here. If you don't ride consistently, if you don't hit that nice, you know, PBD into PBO kind of ride chain, you're going to be screwed. You're not going to win the game, trust me. So as such, I'm running this consistency card, Cherishing Knight Branwen. Again, just a top 5 searcher. Place this down on Van or Rearguard Circle from hand. Look at the top 5, add a grade 3 to your hand, and then if you added a card to your hand, you discard a card from your hand as well. Its second skill continues on Van or Rearguard Circle. Basically, if your drop is 3 or more grade 1 cards, this guy gets an additional 5k. So nice little booster. Just again, consistent, decent ride 1 target, grade 1 ride target. Just needed in the deck, in my opinion. And then next up, I definitely think these should be the new triggers. So I haven't swapped them out of some of my others. I have 2 sets, and I put them in 2 other decks. So I'm not gonna go back and forth and put these in this one. So I am running 4 of the Heal Guardians technically. So just kind of ignore that. Go with the other Heal Guardians that just came out. And then next up, this is kind of controversial. I think. Can't speak today. I don't know why. I'm running 2 of these, the Sentinel crits, as well as 8 other crits. And again, I think I know there's 5 of one of these crits in here, so this definitely gets swapped for the Revenger crit, but that is, let me just show the Revenger crit if people don't know the name, Grim Revenger. There we are, but overall, this is 10 crit. I think that we have to, I know I said this is low and slow, but at the same time, when you swing, you have to exude pressure, and if your opponent sees one of these, especially early game, they'll think that you might be running like, you know, like a 12 crit kind of build or something like that, so I think that it is good to kind of run these. I think that sometimes they're just going to let that Vanguard swing come through. And, you know, you swing with 2, boom, you hit them with that 3rd one. It can make the whole rest of the game work out a lot better. And once you hit that threshold, like let's say you get them to 5, they're kind of, you know, they're in a really bad spot. They have to essentially dump their entire hand to block your big Vanguard swing, or they have to just take a damage with the Sentinel, you know. If they're at 5, they drop that Sentinel, boom, counterblast 1, they lose the game. It's just, you know, unless they heal out, it's that simple. And then lastly, I'm running 2 of the draw PGs. We still have huge columns in this game, so you do need some sort of just, you know, perfect guards in your deck. So in my opinion, just run 2 of these. You can swap this out, don't get me wrong, you know, you can do a full-on 4 of this set, but again, like I said, the best opportunity I think we really have is to close out the game, and to do that, just upping the count of crits just kind of helps. So, and then obviously too, I always forget to include the starter, but I am running a starter. So thank you guys so much for watching so far. If you are interested, let's go into a test stand. All right, let's shuffle up over here. Let's get started. Let's get the camera in and out of focus. It's really trying hard. There we are. I'm going to show you guys, you know, I do really shuffle this. These aren't rigged or anything like that. We'll pretend we go first. I really do like this card because, or this deck, just because there's Phantom Blaster's not doing too much outside of this deck period at this point. Is there anything I want to keep here? Actually, I don't think there's anything I want to keep. Maybe, you know, I'm gonna put the full mold back because I didn't get in a main, and that's really what we're looking for here. So let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We do get the main, nice, and we do have another grade 1, so it is a 5k base, but we can still salvage this and make this kind of like a playable hand, so not too bad. Let's see, shuffle up, shuffle back. Oh, okay, all right, cool. stand and draw for our turn. We're going to pretend we go first, like I said. We are, oh cool, we do get a decent ride target. So we're going to call down the, ride the Brandwin, draw for our turn. We do draw one. See what I'm talking about? If I just had one more of these in the deck, I already would have been out because of blaster targets for that, because I'm going to call one out from my deck to ride, and I would have been, that in my hand would not have been eligible for a PBO call. So I'm now going to search the top 5. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to add the Phantom Blaster Overlord. I'm just going to ditch the PBD just because we don't need it at the moment. It seems to be like a fan favorite kind of deck too. I really, when I first started the channel, I started just, just randomly I made a video. Actually, do I want to ditch the PBD? I could ditch her. Yeah, I could ditch her and just call her with the main. That's fine. Read the situation and then see. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep that just because PBD will be a better body on board later. Okay, and then we're going to pass it over to our opponent, take a damage for their turn. All right, stand and draw for our turn. We do get the dump hood already, actually. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to go get that guy with Nemain. So I found it, did that whole thing. I got distracted talking to myself. Let's rewind it a little bit. So I should have gone back in deck. Whatever, let's just say I took that damage. Should have gone back in deck, used the Nemain. I would have popped out a dump hood dragon. There's the second copy here. There we are. Dump hood dragon. Soul Blast and search my deck. I don't know why I'm shuffling then. Alright, let's go get Blaster Dark then. So add Blaster Dark to hand, and we'll just pretend, I drew into the second copy of Dump Hood. It's not really a great card from there on out. But we are going to be here. Alright. We are next up. So we drew for our grade 2 turn. Alright, cool. Everyone stands. I'm going to ride into the Blaster Dark. Now with Nemain, I'm going to rest Nemain. And I'm going to go and get the Bendy. I might as well drop another Phantom Blast Dragon because I'm going to go get that anyway. There we go, there's Bendy. So Bendy searches out the Phantom Blaster Dragon there, and we'll ride into that on our grade 2 turn. Alright, so Bendy's skill, going to retire herself, Soul Blast. So I have no soul, which kind of sucks, but again, to ride up to grade 3 this early is no big deal. And then we are going to go into, I'm going to go into Force 1. Let me just grab a Force 1 marker real quick. Alright, so I am actually going to put this first marker, I'm going to put it on, yeah, I don't think it really matters which one. I'm going to put it over here. And then let's proceed with the rest of our turn, because I think I'm going to call down the Dump Hood and just make this a little bit more powerful. So I'm just going to call down Dump Hood, and since we do have a Vanguard with Blaster in its name, this is base 10k plus that other 10k. Plus we still have a Twin Drive on this, so it's pretty threatening even still. And then do I want to call the Leafall and do that? I have the open Counterblast, I can do it. Let's go for a little bit of a rush play. You can do that with this deck. I'm going to Counterblast one, and then going to call out a grade 1. I'm going to call out the Sharon. And we're going to Soul Blast out the Blaster Dark. Never Soul Blast out the Phantom Blaster Dragon. Unless maybe I have 2 in there, but that's really hard to get, kind of, so. Alright, so we Soul Blast that, Counter Charge. It's 11k base, so this is 21. Let's just do that and swing Twin Drive over here. It loses his ability, not the Twin Drive. I think I said it does lose a drive earlier. I was wrong. Yeah, Twin Drive here. So let's go. First check, nothing. Second check, nothing. Okay. Even still, this is going to be a 20k swing over here. There we are. Over to our opponent now, and we are going to take 2 damage for their turn. Let's say 1. Yeah, especially since we hit a defensive trigger. 2. Power draw. There we go. All right, so we have a decent shield in hand. We have enough to kind of, survive out. The thing about this that kind of sucks is that if you're on grade 3 early and you are using the Heal Guardians, you can't really use them because you're on grade 3 so early. So even if you do go second, I think you won't be able to use them unless you don't want to use them on grade 1 or whatever. So I'm probably a little bit confused when I'm talking there, but I'm just trying to play through this. All right, let's go into my grade 3 turn now. I did just draw, I think. Did I just draw, or did I draw off of the? No, I drew off of that thing, right? Yeah, so I drew that trigger. Okay, cool. So let's go and grab our Phantom Blaster Overlord here. Put another marker on my boy. Here we are. Let's go Force 1. I'm gonna put that on the Vanguard just because we are able to go and call out the support unit that I want. Where is she? Here she is. Okay. There we are. So this actually encourages you to swing with a full board so you can retire 3 units and kind of make itself like a 20k. So let's go 1, 2, again, this is going to be 18. This is going to be 20, and then I am going to swing here. I'm going to activate its skill. I'm going to counterblast 1. Here we are. And then I'm going to retire 1, 2, 3. And this gets an extra 15k in the back row here. So this is going to be 20k plus 33. So this is again going to be a 53k 2 crit. And then I'm also going to grab a blaster from my deck and call it to Rearguard Circle, give that an additional 10k. Let's call the Phantom Blaster Dragon here. Having a really nice turn overall, I think. There we are. And then we're going to drive check twice. 1, 2. We don't really like too many triggers apparently this game, but we do get the crit. If they did PG that, counterblast over here, deal them a nice damage. 2 crit over here. It's going to be a 40k, whatever. 43k, right? Because if we put the power there, yeah, 10 from his skill, 13, 23, 33, 43, yeah, 43 2 crit. So again, this deck, you know, with a little bit of luck and you know, a little bit of know-how, you can make it work pretty decently overall. I think that this card really does put on a lot of pressure. They're either dumping their entire hand to make sure this kind of doesn't hit and really put them in a bad situation, or you're counterblasting 1 to get rid of, they're just taking that 1 damage, they're willing to do that, and then you can put your drive checks elsewhere and just make your called out unit just a little bit more impactful. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love doing these like little update videos. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. This is Alex from Team Generations, signing out.